Hello, and welcome back to Fluent English Journey. My name is Laura, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to clear, confident, and natural English. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a lesson. Your support truly helps this channel grow. All right, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's session. When you listen to this voice, I want you to imagine that you are stepping into a quiet room where English feels safe, simple, and gentle. A room where you don't need to rush. A room where you don't need to impress anyone. A room where the only goal is to breathe, listen, and grow. This is the beginning of your fluent journey, and as you sit here now, maybe you feel curious, maybe a little excited, and maybe even a little nervous. And that is perfectly okay. Every fluent speaker you admire once felt exactly the same. They began with small steps, simple sentences, and quiet practice, just like you. Today, I will guide you through a deep and long English listening experience, almost like a story, almost like a journey, almost like a conversation happening inside your mind. I want you to relax and just follow the voice. You don't need to understand every word. You only need to enjoy the flow. Imagine it is early morning. The sun is rising slowly and the world is still quiet. You step outside your door and the air feels fresh. There is something different about this morning. Maybe it is the light. Maybe it is the silence. Or maybe it is the simple fact that today, you decided you want to grow. Not because someone told you to. Not because you need to pass an exam. Not because you want to impress someone. But because a small part of you wants to become better than yesterday. And that small part is powerful. That small part is where confidence is born. As you walk down the street, you hear soft sounds, birds singing, leaves moving, a distant bicycle, a voice from far away. All these small sounds are like English words. They surround you. They reach your ears. Some you recognize. Some you don't. But the more you listen, the more you understand. That is what fluent English feels like. It is not about knowing every word. It is about understanding the rhythm of a language, the natural flow, the music inside each sentence. And as you listen now, you begin to notice that English doesn't have to feel difficult or heavy or confusing. It can feel like a friend walking beside you, slow and calm. Imagine that English is not a subject you study. English is a journey you walk. And in this journey, you will sometimes walk fast, sometimes slow, sometimes you will stop, and sometimes you will even get lost, but every step takes you forward. As you keep walking, you reach a small marketplace. People are opening their shops. You hear conversations. Some are loud, friendly, filled with laughter. Others are soft, relaxed, almost whisper-like. You hear people greeting each other. Good morning, how are you? Did you sleep well? These simple phrases are like keys. Small keys that open doors in conversation. Many learners ignore these small keys because they want to learn bigger words, complicated expressions, or advanced vocabulary. But real English fluency is born from simple phrases spoken naturally and confidently. Imagine yourself entering a small coffee shop. You push the glass door and a soft bell rings above your head. The smell of fresh coffee fills the room. You walk to the counter and the barista smiles at you. In your mind, you practice the sentence, "Can I have a cup of coffee, please?" A simple, clear, kind sentence. And you say it. Slowly, calmly, naturally. And the barista understands you. You did it. You communicated. This small moment becomes a victory. A tiny victory that most people ignore, but not you. Because you know that fluency is built from small victories repeated again and again. The barista hands you your coffee, and you choose a seat near the window. You look outside and watch people passing by. Some are in a hurry, some are relaxed. And you ask yourself, why do I want to speak English fluently? The answer can be anything. Maybe you want a better job. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to make international friends. Or maybe you want to feel confident in a world that is bigger than your own. Whatever your reason is, hold on to it. That reason is your fuel. And when learning feels hard, your reason becomes your strength. As you sit in that coffee shop, you feel a soft determination rising inside you. A small voice says, I can do this. And yes, you really can. Because fluency is not a talent. Fluency is a habit, a daily habit. And today, by listening to this long training session, you are building that habit. You are teaching your brain a new sound system. You are giving yourself the gift of practice, which is the strongest medicine for confidence. You take a slow sip of your coffee. It feels warm, gentle, comforting. And in that moment, you decide something important. From today, English will not scare me. English will be my partner. This decision changes everything. Your mindset shifts. Instead of thinking, I am bad at English, you start thinking, I am improving every day. Instead of thinking, others speak better than me, you say, I speak better than yesterday. Instead of saying, I make mistakes, you learn to say, I learn from mistakes. This small change in mindset is the foundation of fluency. As you finish your coffee, you stand up and leave the shop. The bell rings again. You step outside and breathe in the morning air. You notice the world feels brighter now. It feels full of possibility. And then, suddenly, something happens. You hear two tourists asking for directions. Their English is fast, clear, natural, and you freeze. You understand some parts, but not everything. A small panic rises inside you. For a moment, your confidence shakes. This is normal. Everyone feels nervous when they hear native level speed. But instead of running away, you do something brave. You walk closer and listen. One tourist says, excuse me, do you know how to get to the old market? We seem to be walking in circles. Their words flow smoothly. Their expressions are natural. Their tone feels friendly. You watch their faces, their hand gestures, their relaxed posture. You listen again. And suddenly, something surprising happens. You understand more than you expected. Yes, their English is fast. But your brain is slowly learning to catch the meaning behind the speed. And in that moment, you feel something powerful, progress. You stand there quietly, listening, observing, learning. And that's when a deeper realization hits you. English fluency is not built in big, dramatic moments. It is built in small, everyday seconds, moments when you simply listen. Moments when you talk to yourself in your mind. Moments when you guess the meaning. Moments when you get curious. Moments when you get confused, but keep listening anyway. The tourists walk away, and you continue your journey. But something in you has changed. You are not the same person who started this morning. You are more aware, more confident, more open. You are beginning to see English not as a wall, but as a bridge that connects you to the world. You walk toward a quiet lake. The water is calm. The surface reflects the sky like a mirror. You sit on a bench near the water and you close your eyes. You listen to the soft waves, the distant voices, the birds, the wind. You let the sounds mix with the English words you hear in this narration. You allow your brain to relax into the language. You stop thinking, and you start feeling the language. This is how deep listening works. It isn't about catching every word. It's about letting the language flow into your mind like water. And then another thought appears in your mind. What is my biggest challenge in English? Maybe you think your pronunciation is not good. Maybe you feel shy starting conversations. Maybe you feel afraid of making mistakes. Maybe you feel stuck at an intermediate level. Whatever your challenge is, imagine holding it in your hand like a small stone. Look at the stone. Feel its shape, its weight, and then, slowly, throw it into the lake. Watch it disappear under the water. This moment becomes symbolic. A small mental shift. A soft promise to yourself, I will not let fear stop me. You open your eyes and take a deep breath. The world feels calm again. You stand up and begin to walk around the lake. As you walk, you repeat simple English sentences in your mind. I am improving. I can speak clearly. I learn every day. I enjoy English. These simple phrases shape your confidence. They build your identity as an English speaker. The more you repeat them, the more natural they become. Suddenly, you hear someone behind you calling your name. You turn around and see an old friend walking toward you. This friend is someone you haven't seen in months. They smile and say, "Hey, it's been so long. How have you been?" Their English is friendly and relaxed. You reply slowly, simply, clearly, "I've been good. I'm learning English these days." Your friend laughs softly and says, "That's great. Let's talk in English then." And for a moment, you feel nervous again. But something inside you says, "Just try. It's okay." You sit with your friend on a wooden bench, and the conversation begins. At first, your sentences are slow. You pause often. You search for words. But your friend waits patiently. They listen. They support you. And as minutes pass, something beautiful happens. You begin to speak more naturally. Your pauses become shorter. Your sentences become smoother. Your confidence grows. And you realize something magical. Fluency grows fastest when you stop worrying about being perfect. Your friend tells you stories about work, about travel, about life. You listen and respond. You ask questions. You share your thoughts. And every minute feels like a small step forward. This becomes a memorable moment because it is the first time you feel your English flowing in a conversation without fear. After a long chat, your friend stands up and says, "Let's meet again soon. And let's keep practicing English together." You smile and agree. As they walk away, you feel a warm sense of pride. You did it. You had a real conversation in English. Slow, simple, but real. And that is how fluency begins, not with complexity, but with courage. You continue your walk around the lake. The sun is higher now. The world is awake. And you feel awake too. You feel lighter, calmer, more connected to yourself. You feel like a student, a traveler, a learner, and a storyteller all at the same time. You whisper to yourself, "I'm getting better." At the end of the lake, there is a small wooden bridge. You walk onto it and stop in the middle. You look down at the water and see a reflection. This reflection is not just your face. It is your effort, your hope, your growth. You look into your own eyes and realize that you have everything inside you to become a fluent English speaker. You don't need perfection. You don't need to memorize long lists of words. You don't need to speak like a native. You only need to practice with intention. Listen with patience. Speak with courage. And continue with consistency. You take one last deep breath on that bridge, allowing the fresh air to fill your lungs. And then, slowly, you smile. Because deep inside, you know, this is the beginning of something powerful. Something long. Something meaningful. Something inspiring. This is the beginning of your fluent journey. And today, you have taken your first step in a long, beautiful path, a path filled with stories, emotions, conversations, mistakes, lessons, growth, and transformation. And as you walk away from the bridge, you whisper one simple sentence, "I'm ready." As you continue your day, the world around you becomes warmer, brighter, and louder. People are everywhere now. You see conversations happening on every street corner. Short conversations. Long conversations. Happy conversations. Serious conversations. And as you walk through the city, you begin to realize something important. Every conversation, no matter how simple, is a chance to practice English. You don't always need a classroom. You don't always need a teacher. Sometimes, life itself becomes your teacher. Every voice becomes a lesson. Every sentence becomes a new seed of learning that grows inside you. As you walk, you notice a small bookstore. The door is open, and inside you can hear two people talking. Their voices echo gently between the shelves. You walk closer and listen without interrupting. One voice says, "Do you think this book is good for beginners?" Another replies, "I'm not sure, but the stories look simple and interesting." The sentences are soft, natural, friendly. And even though the topic is simple, the English feels alive. You realize that daily conversations are not always fast or difficult. Many of them are slow and basic, exactly like this. And when you listen to them, you begin to understand something new. English is not only a language of grammar. English is a language of people. You step inside the bookstore. The air is warm, and you can smell old paper and new books mixed together. You walk through the aisles, running your fingers across the book spines, feeling the texture of each one. You hear another conversation near the counter. A customer asks, "Do you have the latest travel guide?" The shopkeeper answers, "Yes, it's on the top shelf, next to the magazines." These simple lines, these everyday exchanges, become part of your training. The more you hear them, the more natural they feel. And as you listen, something begins to change inside you. The fear of speaking slowly disappears. You start feeling comfortable with ordinary English. You pick up a book, flip through a few pages, and read a simple sentence. Life becomes easier when you stay curious. You smile quietly because that sentence feels true. Curiosity brought you here. Curiosity pushes you forward. Curiosity keeps you learning. And as you close the book and place it back on the shelf, you whisper softly to yourself, "I will stay curious." When you leave the bookstore, the sun is high in the sky, and the city feels alive. You walk slowly, observing everything as if the world is speaking to you in English. You pass a bakery, and through the window, you see a mother and child. The child points at a pastry and says, "I want this one." The mother laughs gently and replies, "Okay, but only one." Again, simple English. Easy sentences. But these small interactions help train your ears. You begin to notice how English sounds in natural life, not in textbooks, not in exams, not in grammar exercises, but in real moments. You keep walking until you reach a small park. Children are playing. Dogs are running. People are chatting on benches. You sit on the grass and close your eyes. You begin hearing pieces of conversations around you. "Did you watch the game last night?" "No, I missed it." "Let's go get lunch." "I'll call you later." All these tiny fragments of conversation float through the air like small lessons written just for you. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to let the sound of English become familiar. As you lie back on the grass, a thought enters your mind. How can I practice English every day? And suddenly, the answer appears. You practice English through life. Not only through books or lessons, but through daily actions. You talk to yourself in English. You think in English. You observe the world in English. You learn to describe what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Even if your sentences are not perfect, they are valuable. Because every sentence you create becomes a new step toward fluency. You sit up and look around the park. You see an old man feeding birds. You see a young couple sharing ice cream. You see two friends jogging. You begin describing these scenes in your mind. The old man is feeding birds. The couple is laughing. The friends are running together. These simple descriptions may seem small, but they train your mind to build English sentences automatically. Then something unexpected happens. A woman walking by accidentally drops her water bottle near your feet. It rolls toward you. You pick it up and hand it to her. She smiles and says, "Thank you so much." You respond, "You're welcome." Just two simple lines. But this small exchange makes you feel more connected to the language. Sometimes, fluency is built through kindness. A small moment, a simple sentence, a warm interaction. These are the bricks that build your confidence. You stand up and walk toward the center of the park. There is a small fountain with clear water spraying into the air. Children run around it, laughing and shouting in English. You watch them play a game where one child closes their eyes while others hide. You hear phrases like, "Ready or not, here I come," and "No, don't hide there." These simple childhood expressions remind you that English is not something heavy or serious. English is playful. English is emotional. English is alive. As you watch the children, you remember your own childhood. You think about the language you grew up speaking. How natural it felt. How easy it was to speak without thinking. English can feel that way too, but only if you allow yourself to relax, to practice daily, to enjoy small conversations instead of avoiding them. You walk away from the fountain and follow a narrow path lined with trees. The leaves make gentle sounds as the wind moves through them. And while you walk, a question appears in your mind. Why do daily conversations matter so much? And the answer comes quickly, because 90% of real-life English is daily English. Most conversations in life are not advanced. Most people don't speak with big words. Most English speakers communicate simply, clearly, naturally. And if you master daily English, you master the foundation of fluency. The path leads you to a small outdoor cafe inside the park. You decide to sit down at a table under a large umbrella. A server walks over and asks, "Can I get you something to drink?" You pause for a moment and answer, "Yes, I'd like a cold lemonade, please." The server smiles and repeats, "1 lemonade. I'll bring it shortly." This moment feels comfortable, simple, natural, and you realize how much easier English becomes when you speak without fear. While waiting for your drink, you listen to the people around you. At the table to your left, 2 young men are talking about their weekend plans. One says, "I think I'll visit my parents." The other replies, "Nice. I'll probably just relax at home." At another table, a woman is on a phone call. She says, "Yes, I sent the document. Let me know if you receive it." Every voice in the cafe becomes part of your listening practice. The more you listen, the more you understand. The more you understand, the more confident you feel. Your lemonade arrives. You take a sip. It tastes refreshing and cool. You smile to yourself because this tiny moment, this tiny conversation with the server, is part of your growth. You are collecting moments like these, one by one, slowly building the courage to speak more. Suddenly, a man at the table next to you turns and asks, "Excuse me, do you know where the nearest subway station is?" You take a deep breath and you answer simply, "Yes, it's straight ahead, then turn left." The man smiles gratefully and says, "Thank you. I appreciate it." And you feel a warm wave of confidence rise inside you. You were helpful. You communicated clearly. You used English in a real situation. And you succeeded. You finish your lemonade and continue your walk through the park. As you leave through the main gate, you think about all the small conversations you heard and all the small sentences you practiced today. These moments stay with you. They shape your confidence. They build your fluency quietly, slowly, softly. You continue walking down the street. A gentle breeze touches your face. The world feels calm. And, suddenly, you realize something. English is not only something you learn, it is something you live. You live it through talking, listening, observing, thinking, imagining. You live it through daily conversations, through small interactions, through tiny steps repeated every single day. You pass a bus stop. People are waiting, chatting, checking their phones. You hear a teenager say, "I'm tired. I want to go home." Someone else replies, "Same here." These casual expressions add to your listening flow. You understand more and more without trying too hard. Your brain is adapting. The bus arrives and people board. You decide to take the bus too. You sit near the window and watch the city pass by. The person next to you is talking on their phone. They say things like, I'll be there in 10 minutes, and don't worry, I finished the work. Again, simple phrases, but real. Useful. Natural. As the bus moves, the sun begins to set slowly. The sky turns orange, pink, and gold. The city lights start glowing. You feel peaceful, thoughtful, reflective. And in that calm moment, you understand the deeper truth of fluency. Fluency is not measured by how many big words you know. Fluency is measured by your comfort with daily communication. Fluency grows when you speak without fear, listen without pressure, and practice without judgment. The bus reaches your stop. You get off and begin walking home. You pass a small convenience store, and a young cashier is talking to a customer. Would you like a bag? Yes, please. Your total is $3. Thank you. This tiny exchange, short and simple, reminds you once again, English lives in moments like these. As you walk the final street toward your home, you repeat simple sentences in your mind again. I can speak every day. English is becoming easier. I listen without fear. I enjoy learning. These sentences shape your mental world. They create a new identity for you, the identity of a fluent learner. By the time you reach your home, the sky is dark but peaceful. You unlock the door, step inside, and sit down quietly. You think about your day, the bookstore, the park, the cafe, the bus, all the people you heard, all the moments you lived in English. These memories glow inside you like small lights. You realize this was not just a day. This was training. This was growth. This was transformation through daily conversations. And as you close your eyes, you say softly to yourself, every day, I become more fluent than before. The next morning, you wake up feeling calm but curious. Something in your mind feels different, like a quiet confidence resting inside your chest. You sit on the edge of your bed and stretch your arms. The world outside your window is soft and slow. Early sunlight touches the buildings, and you feel ready for another day of English, another day of learning, another day of growing. But today will be different. Today, you will face one of the biggest challenges in fluency, fast English. You step outside your home and walk down the street. The air is cool, the sky is bright, and the world feels peaceful. As you walk, you repeat a simple promise to yourself. Today, I will listen without fear. That promise feels strong, even if a tiny part of you feels nervous. You know fast English is difficult. You know fast conversations sometimes confuse you. But you also know that growth only comes when you touch your limits and push them just a little further. You walk toward the bus stop. Today, the city feels busier than yesterday. Cars pass quickly, people walk fast, voices overlap everywhere. The sounds feel louder, stronger, sharper. But instead of feeling overwhelmed, you stop and listen. Not to understand every word, but simply to hear the rhythm. Because English is not only about words, English is also about music. Every language has a rhythm, a heartbeat, a flow. And today, you will learn to feel that flow. You hear a group of students talking quickly as they walk past you. Their words flow like water. One says, I can't believe we have another test tomorrow. Another replies, yeah, and I didn't even study for the last one. Their voices overlap, interrupt, mix together. You understand pieces, but not everything. And that is okay. Because fast English is not meant to be understood 100% at once. Fast English is something your brain learns slowly, through repeated moments like this. The bus arrives, and you step inside. The bus is crowded, filled with morning conversations. You stand near the back and hold the metal bar for support. All around you, people are talking fast, natural, real English. Someone behind you is saying, I'll send you the file once I get to the office. Someone else says, make sure to call me before lunch. Another voice says, I don't know why the traffic is so bad today. Their words come at you like waves, one after another, fast, strong, constant. For a moment, your mind freezes. You feel that old fear again, the fear you used to feel whenever people spoke too fast. But instead of panicking, you close your eyes and breathe. You tell yourself softly, don't chase the words. Listen to the meaning. And slowly, something begins to change inside your mind. You stop trying to catch every word. You stop trying to translate. You just listen to the feeling behind the sentences. And suddenly, you understand more than before. Not every word, but enough. Enough to follow the topic. Enough to follow the emotion. Enough to follow the rhythm. And that is progress. The bus stops near a busy business district, and you step off. Tall buildings stand above you like giants. People walk quickly. Everyone seems to be in a rush. And this area is full of fast English, people using advanced phrases, business expressions, quick greetings, short instructions. This is where many learners feel lost. This is where you used to avoid listening. But today, you decide to face it. You walk into a small cafe near the corner. Inside, the air smells like roasted coffee beans and fresh pastries. People sit at tables with laptops, typing, talking, working. The conversations here feel faster, more focused, more sharp. A group of coworkers is having a meeting at a table near you. They speak in quick, crisp sentences. We need the final report by noon. Did you check the numbers? I'm waiting for the approval. Let's finish this before lunch. Their English is clear but fast. Their voices overlap. Their ideas move quickly. You feel the pressure rising inside your chest again, but instead of running away, you sit down at a table in the back of the cafe. You order a warm drink and decide to simply listen. You watch their lips move. You listen to the tone of their voices. You hear the way they breathe, pause, emphasize words, and respond. And slowly, you discover a secret. Fast English is not impossible. Fast English is just connected English. English speakers connect words, shorten sounds, blend sentences, and speak without stopping. You listen closely to one person and notice they say, "Did you get it?" But it sounds like, "Did you get it?" You realize English is full of these connected forms. Maybe you learned the words separately, but when people speak fast, the words join together like puzzle pieces. Your drink arrives. You take a sip and let the warm liquid relax your nerves. You listen again. You begin to catch common patterns. I'm gonna, we're gonna, you wanna, let me, gimme. These soft, quick, natural phrases appear again and again. They are not wrong. They are not bad English. They are everyday English. Real English. And you feel proud for recognizing them. After leaving the cafe, you walk toward a busy square. People are everywhere, talking, laughing, arguing, calling, greeting. A man on the phone says quickly, yeah, I'm coming, don't worry, I'll be there soon. A woman talking to a friend says, "Did you see what happened yesterday? It was crazy." Another group of people laugh loudly as one says, "No way. He really said that." Their words move fast. Their sentences jump. Their thoughts rush ahead. And instead of feeling overwhelmed, you stand in the middle of it all with a quiet smile. Because you realize something powerful. You don't need to understand fast English perfectly. You only need to understand enough. Enough to follow the story. Enough to respond. Enough to stay in the conversation. You continue walking through the square until you reach a long bench near a fountain. You sit down and observe the people passing by. You listen to the flow of conversations. Fast English used to feel like a river too strong to cross. But now it feels like a river you can step into slowly, one foot at a time. Suddenly, a young man sits next to you. He is holding a map and looks a little confused. He turns to you and asks quickly, "Hey, sorry, do you know if this street leads to the museum?" His sentence is fast. Very fast. But you understood it. You take a breath and answer clearly, "Yes, go straight and turn right at the next traffic light." He smiles gratefully and says, "Thanks a lot, appreciate it." Then he walks away quickly. And you sit there, surprised at yourself. You understood a fast question. You responded naturally. You didn't freeze. You didn't panic. That moment becomes a quiet victory in your heart. You stand up and begin walking again. The sky is brighter now. The city feels alive with movement and sound. Every moment becomes part of your listening practice. Every conversation becomes a small challenge that makes you stronger. You walk into a grocery store. People are speaking fast again. A cashier says, "Next customer, please." A woman says, "Can you pack this separately?" A man says, "Sorry, do you have change?" These simple lines come quickly, but they're understandable because they are familiar phrases. You realize that fast English feels difficult only when you don't hear it often. But today, you're hearing it again and again, and your brain is slowly adapting. You walk through the aisles of the grocery store, picking a few items you want. When you reach the checkout counter, the cashier speaks fast. "Hi, how are you? Did you find everything you needed?" You pause for only a second and answer, "Yes, thank you." The cashier scans your items quickly and says, "That'll be $8.75. You hand the money and say, "Here you go." The cashier adds, "Have a great day." And you reply, "You too." It feels simple. It feels normal. It feels natural. You are transforming. You leave the grocery store and walk toward a busier street. You pass by a group of tourists walking behind a guide. The guide speaks quickly. On your left, you'll see the oldest building in this area. It was built in the 1800s. The tourists listen and follow. You listen too. Not to learn history, but to feel the speed. And you begin to understand that even when people speak fast, the important words stand out. Your brain catches the key ideas. You keep walking until you reach a train station. The station is full of announcements, people, movement, noise. An announcement plays over the speakers. "Attention passengers, the 3:45 train to Riverside is now boarding at platform 6. The voice is fast but clear. You understand it. You feel proud again. You sit on a bench inside the station and watch people rushing to catch their trains. You listen to parents talking to children, friends saying goodbye, workers discussing schedules. Fast English surrounds you, but today it feels like a challenge you can handle. A challenge you can grow from. After a while, you decide to take a short train ride. You board the train and sit by the window. Two passengers in front of you are talking quickly. Person 1, "Did you finish the presentation?" Person 2, "Almost. I still need to add the last part." Person 1, "Well, we don't have much time left." Person 2, "Yeah, I know. I'll do it tonight." Their conversation is quick, natural, unplanned. And you understand almost everything. You smile quietly. Because you realize something big, your ears are becoming stronger. Your mind is becoming more flexible. Your listening skills are growing silently inside you. The train moves through the city. Buildings pass by. Trees blur in the distance. People around you continue talking. Their conversations shift, flow, blend. And you let the sounds wash over you like waves. You understand some sentences perfectly. You understand some partially. And some you don't understand at all. But instead of feeling bad, you feel grateful. Because this is real English. And real English is messy. Real English is fast. Real English is full of emotion, movement, and rhythm. By the time the train reaches your stop, you feel stronger, more confident, more open. You step onto the platform and walk out of the station. The world feels different now, not because the world changed, but because you changed. As you walk home, you reflect on your day. You faced fast English. You listened to native speakers. You followed conversations. You understood quick sentences. You responded without fear. You grew, step by step, moment by moment. And when you reach your home, you whisper something powerful to yourself. "I don't need perfect English. I need brave English." You smile softly and step inside. Another day of transformation is complete. The next day begins quietly. You wake up with the sun filtering through your window. The world feels calm, and so do you. But today, something feels different. You feel ready not just to listen to English, but to speak English more confidently. Listening is powerful, yes, but speaking is where the magic of fluency truly grows. And today, you're ready to face this challenge. You sit on the edge of your bed and take a deep breath. You whisper softly to yourself, I can speak. I can express. I can communicate. These simple words carry power because every time you repeat them, your brain begins to accept them as truth. Confidence in speaking doesn't come from knowing thousands of words. Confidence comes from believing that your voice matters, that your ideas matter, that your English matters. You stand up and begin your morning routine, speaking to yourself quietly as you move. I am brushing my teeth. I am washing my face. I am ready for today. Simple sentences, slow and calm. You notice how even speaking to yourself in English makes your mind feel alert, aware, and alive. These small moments build your fluency from the inside out. When you step outside, the morning air feels fresh. You begin walking slowly down the street, speaking quietly to yourself about what you see. The trees are green. The sky is blue. The street is quiet. As you speak, your voice becomes part of the world. Your English is no longer hidden inside your mind. It flows into the air, soft but real. Confidence begins to grow silently with each sentence you say. As you walk, you notice a small cafe with a few people sitting outside. You feel a flutter of nervousness. Speaking English in front of others has always been challenging. Your heart beats a little faster. But instead of turning away, you decide to take a deep breath and try a simple conversation. You approach the counter. A barista greets you, "Good morning. What would you like?" You pause for a moment, then speak clearly and slowly. "Good morning. I would like a cappuccino, please." The barista smiles and repeats, "1 cappuccino. Anything else?" You shake your head and say, "No, thank you." The barista replies, "All right, that will be $3.50. You hand over the money and say, "Here you go." Finally, you add, "Thank you. Have a nice day." The barista smiles warmly, and you walk toward a table outside. You sit and sip your cappuccino slowly. And in this simple exchange, you feel something magical. You spoke in English confidently. You expressed your need, responded politely, and were understood. Small, yes, but powerful. Every fluent speaker remembers these moments as the first victories that build lasting confidence. Around you, other people are talking in English. Some speak slowly, some quickly, some with mistakes, some perfectly. You listen quietly and imagine yourself joining these conversations one day. Not perfectly. Not perfectly fast, but naturally, slowly, calmly, and with courage. A couple at a nearby table begins a conversation about their weekend plans. "I think we should visit the park," says one. "Yes, and maybe grab lunch after," replies the other. You repeat their sentences quietly in your mind. Visit the park, grab lunch. You realize that repeating phrases from real conversations strengthens your memory and your ability to speak naturally. You smile because you notice your progress. Your brain is becoming comfortable with English patterns, rhythms, and flow. Suddenly, a man at the next table asks for directions. He speaks fast. "Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the train station?" Your heart beats faster, but you remember the simple rule you've learned. Slow down, understand the main idea, respond clearly. You take a deep breath and answer, "Yes, go straight for 2 blocks. Then turn left. The station is on your right." The man smiles, "Thanks so much." You nod and reply, "You're welcome." And just like that, you handled a real conversation in fast English, with strangers, with courage. You finish your coffee and walk toward a quiet park nearby. A small group of people is practicing English together. You watch from a distance. One person says, "Hello. How are you today?" Another replies, "I'm fine, thank you." And you feel a spark of excitement. This is exactly what you need, a safe place to observe and imagine speaking. You sit on a bench and start speaking quietly to yourself. I can do this. I am confident. I speak clearly. I enjoy English. Your sentences feel soft, slow, and natural. You feel your body relax. Your mind sharpens. And slowly, you repeat longer sentences. I like walking in the park. The weather is nice today. I want to practice my English with real people. Speaking these sentences aloud, even softly, begins to feel comfortable. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. Your voice becomes a friend rather than a stranger. As you walk deeper into the park, you see a small playground. Children are playing and laughing. One child says, "I want to go higher," and another replies, "Be careful." You repeat their sentences quietly to yourself. I want to go higher. Be careful. Even though they are children, you notice how natural their English is, direct, expressive, and simple. You realize that natural English is often short, emotional, and easy to understand. You decide to speak more like this, clear, simple, and confident. A jogger passes by and says, "Good morning. Beautiful day, isn't it?" You smile and reply, "Yes, very beautiful." The jogger nods and runs on. This short exchange feels empowering. You realize that confidence is not about long speeches or perfect grammar. Confidence is about speaking when it matters, using simple sentences, and being understood. Every small conversation builds your courage like bricks in a wall. You continue walking and notice a street musician playing guitar and singing softly. You stop and listen. The lyrics are simple. I walk in the city. I see the sky. I hear the people passing by. You repeat the sentences softly in your mind. I walk. I see. I hear. You realize that English is not just spoken in conversations. It is found in music, signs, books, songs, advertisements, even your thoughts. Fluency grows when you immerse yourself fully listening, reading, thinking, and speaking every day. As you walk further, you notice an elderly woman sitting alone on a bench. You feel a sudden urge to speak. You approach and say slowly, "Good morning. How are you today?" She looks up and smiles, "I'm fine, thank you. How are you?" You reply, "I'm good. Thank you." She nods, and you continue walking. That short exchange, simple as it is, fills you with warmth. Speaking to strangers is no longer scary. Every sentence strengthens your voice. You decide to practice longer sentences now. You speak aloud as you walk. As the afternoon begins, you step outside again, carrying the calm confidence you built this morning. The city feels alive, bustling with movement, voices, and life. But today, you're not focused on speaking. Today, you focus on listening beyond words. You understand now that English fluency is not only about speaking clearly, it is also about listening deeply, noticing tone, emotion, pauses, rhythm, and meaning, all the hidden layers that make language alive. You walk slowly down a busy street. People are talking, laughing, arguing, negotiating, and greeting. Some voices are fast, some slow. Some voices are soft, some loud. And your mind begins to tune in. You do not try to catch every word. You do not try to translate everything. Instead, you focus on the feeling behind the words. You listen to how people react. You notice the rise and fall of their voices. You hear emphasis, repetition, hesitation. And in this moment, you understand that listening is like feeling music, not only hearing words. A man at a coffee cart speaks quickly to the vendor. "Can you make it extra hot today? I have a meeting in 15 minutes. The vendor nods, smiles, and replies, "Sure, no problem." You notice the urgency in the man's tone and the friendly reassurance in the vendor's voice. Even if you did not catch every word, you understood the relationship, the emotion, and the intention. That is real listening, understanding meaning without relying only on words. You continue walking toward a small park. Children are playing near the fountain. One shouts, "Catch me if you can." Another laughs and replies, "I'm going to get you." Their sentences are fast, simple, full of energy. You smile and repeat quietly in your mind, "Catch me. I'm going to get you." You realize that listening also means noticing context. Words are only part of the story. Actions, gestures, expressions, and situations carry as much meaning as sentences. And when you begin noticing all these layers, English becomes easier, more natural, more alive. You sit on a bench and close your eyes for a moment. You listen to the city around you, cars passing, footsteps, distant conversations, wind in the trees. Each sound is a layer of English. Some words are familiar. Some are new. Some are unclear. But you let them flow without forcing understanding. You understand that fluency is built when your brain learns to absorb English like water, even when it seems fast, unclear, or incomplete. A woman near you is talking on her phone. She says, "Yes, I'll send the email right now. Make sure you check it before the meeting." You notice the rhythm of her speech, the way she stresses certain words: send, check, meeting. You do not worry about grammar or speed. You simply notice how communication works in real life, how people organize ideas, emphasize meaning, and convey urgency or emotion naturally. And slowly, your brain begins to internalize this pattern. You take a deep breath and imagine yourself joining these conversations one day. Not perfectly, not instantly, but naturally with understanding, confidence, and calm. You repeat silently, "I will understand fast English. I will understand meaning, not just words. I will listen deeply every day." These simple sentences guide your mind toward active listening, a skill even more important than vocabulary or grammar. As you continue walking, you pass a small street market. Vendors are talking to customers quickly, "Fresh oranges. Best price today. Do you want a bag?" "Yes, here you go." You stop and watch. Even if the sentences are fast, repetitive, or slightly messy, you understand the intent and meaning. You notice that communication is rarely perfect. It is alive, imperfect, and full of emotion. And that realization is freeing. You no longer feel pressure to understand everything. You simply listen, feel, and follow the flow. A young couple walks past, speaking softly to each other. "Did you enjoy the movie?" "Yes, but it was too long." "I liked the ending, though." You repeat their sentences in your mind. "Did you enjoy?" "Yes, too long, liked the ending." You notice the emotional cues: agreement, slight disagreement, personal opinion. You feel your understanding deepen because listening is not just hearing words, it is noticing emotion, intention, and rhythm. You continue toward a quiet square with a small fountain. A street performer is playing a guitar and singing. The lyrics are slow, emotional, full of repetition. You listen and repeat quietly in your mind, "I walk alone. I see the sky. I feel the rain." Music and language merge. You realize that English is not only spoken in conversations, it is in songs, sounds, rhythms, tone, and emotion. Fluency grows when your brain absorbs these patterns naturally. A group of friends passes by, talking rapidly. One says, "I can't believe he did that." Another laughs, "I know, right? So crazy." You notice the emotional energy in their voices. You repeat silently, "Can't believe, so crazy." Even if you do not catch every word, your mind understands story, tone, and meaning. Listening beyond words is a skill you are building today. You sit by the fountain and close your eyes again. You focus on the feeling of English, not just words, not grammar, not vocabulary lists. You notice tone, emphasis, pitch, pauses, emotion. Your brain begins to distinguish meaning from sound naturally. You feel your confidence rise because listening is no longer frightening. It is your ally. It is your teacher. It is your daily exercise in understanding life, language, and people. After a few minutes, you start repeating sentences aloud, softly, blending listening with speaking. The children are playing. The man is walking quickly. The woman is talking on the phone. The music is soft and slow. I understand the meaning. I feel the English. I listen deeply. Speaking while listening trains both your ears and your mouth simultaneously. You feel your fluency growing from the inside out. You continue walking along a tree-lined street. A bus passes by, and inside you hear fragments of conversations. I'm late, need coffee, meeting starts soon. You notice the speed, the connected sounds, the rhythm. You repeat quietly, I'm late, need coffee, meeting starts soon. Your brain starts to adjust to fast, natural speech, but now you notice the underlying meaning instead of panicking about every word. This is progress. You stop at a small bench and a man sits next to you, speaking on his phone. Yes. I'll finish the work by tomorrow, don't worry. You silently note the pauses, the stress on key words, finish, tomorrow, worry. Even though his speech is fast, you follow the logic and emotion behind it. You repeat to yourself, I understand meaning. Words come second. I follow the rhythm. This becomes your new listening habit. As the sun begins to set, you walk toward a quiet park. The world slows down. Children leave. People start heading home. You notice the evening sounds, distant voices, leaves rustling, footsteps, occasional laughter. You listen calmly. You notice patterns. You notice emotion. You notice natural pauses. You notice how English flows in real life, fast, slow, emotional, imperfect. And you feel a deep sense of achievement. Your ears are now tuned to real English. You sit on a bench, close your eyes, and repeat silently, I listen beyond words. I understand meaning. I notice emotion. I follow the rhythm. I feel English naturally. You notice how relaxed your body feels, how calm your mind feels, and how confident your understanding has become. You realize that listening beyond words is the secret to fluency, the skill that allows you to catch meaning even when speech is fast, messy, or unclear. You take a final deep breath as the sun dips below the horizon. You feel connected to the world, to the language, and to yourself. You whisper softly, I listen. I understand. I grow. Every day, my English becomes more natural. Every day, I become more fluent. And with that, your afternoon of deep listening ends, leaving you calm, confident, and ready to use your new skills in real conversations. I enjoy walking in the park. I see many people. Some talk fast, some talk slow. I try to listen carefully. I try to speak clearly. I am improving every day. These sentences may feel small, but they train your mouth, your tongue, your brain, and your confidence simultaneously. As you approach a quiet pond in the center of the park, you sit down again. You notice ducks swimming. You speak slowly. The ducks are swimming. The water is calm. The sun is shining. You feel your voice becoming stronger. You feel your confidence growing. You feel your English becoming part of your life rather than something distant or difficult. You spend the rest of the morning practicing short dialogues with yourself. Hello, my name is Josh. I like English. I enjoy learning every day. I listen to conversations. I speak slowly. I speak clearly. I can talk to people. Each sentence becomes a small step toward fluency. You notice that your voice is no longer hesitant. It is calm. It is clear. It is confident. And that is the transformation that comes from consistent practice, not overnight, but slowly, daily, and gently. As the sun reaches its highest point, you stand up and take a deep breath. You look around the park and whisper softly, "I can speak. I am confident. I enjoy English. Every day, I become better." And deep inside, you feel a strong sense of achievement. You faced your fear of speaking. You spoke to real people. You practiced sentences aloud. You repeated phrases. You learned to feel English as a living, breathing language inside you. You continue walking home, speaking softly to yourself, repeating sentences, observing the world, and imagining conversations. You know that confidence is built slowly, brick by brick, conversation by conversation, day by day. And today, you took another important step on the road to fluency, a step not about perfect words, but about courage, clarity, and consistency. By the time you reach home, you feel calm, proud, and excited. You sit down, close your eyes, and repeat one simple, powerful sentence in your mind. I speak English with confidence. I speak English with courage. I speak English every day. And with that, your morning of speaking practice ends, leaving you stronger, braver, and ready for the next adventure. As the afternoon begins, you step outside again, carrying the calm confidence you built this morning. The city feels alive, bustling with movement, voices, and life. But today, you're not focused on speaking. Today, you focus on listening beyond words. You understand now that English fluency is not only about speaking clearly, it is also about listening deeply, noticing tone, emotion, pauses, rhythm, and meaning, all the hidden layers that make language alive. You walk slowly down a busy street. People are talking, laughing, arguing, negotiating, and greeting. Some voices are fast, some slow. Some voices are soft, some loud. And your mind begins to tune in. You do not try to catch every word. You do not try to translate everything. Instead, you focus on the feeling behind the words. You listen to how people react. You notice the rise and fall of their voices. You hear emphasis, repetition, hesitation. And in this moment, you understand that listening is like feeling music, not only hearing words. A man at a coffee cart speaks quickly to the vendor. "Can you make it extra hot today? I have a meeting in 15 minutes. The vendor nods, smiles, and replies, "Sure, no problem." You notice the urgency in the man's tone and the friendly reassurance in the vendor's voice. Even if you did not catch every word, you understood the relationship, the emotion, and the intention. That is real listening, understanding meaning without relying only on words. You continue walking toward a small park. Children are playing near the fountain. One shouts, "Catch me if you can." Another laughs and replies, "I'm going to get you." Their sentences are fast, simple, full of energy. You smile and repeat quietly in your mind, "Catch me. I'm going to get you." You realize that listening also means noticing context. Words are only part of the story. Actions, gestures, expressions, and situations carry as much meaning as sentences. And when you begin noticing all these layers, English becomes easier, more natural, more alive. You sit on a bench and close your eyes for a moment. You listen to the city around you, cars passing, footsteps, distant conversations, wind in the trees. Each sound is a layer of English. Some words are familiar. Some are new. Some are unclear. But you let them flow without forcing understanding. You understand that fluency is built when your brain learns to absorb English like water, even when it seems fast, unclear, or incomplete. A woman near you is talking on her phone. She says, "Yes, I'll send the email right now. Make sure you check it before the meeting." You notice the rhythm of her speech, the way she stresses certain words. Send, check, meeting. You do not worry about grammar or speed. You simply notice how communication works in real life, how people organize ideas, emphasize meaning, and convey urgency or emotion naturally. And slowly, your brain begins to internalize this pattern. You take a deep breath and imagine yourself joining these conversations one day. Not perfectly, not instantly, but naturally with understanding, confidence, and calm. You repeat silently, I will understand fast English. I will understand meaning, not just words. I will listen deeply every day. These simple sentences guide your mind toward active listening, a skill even more important than vocabulary or grammar. As you continue walking, you pass a small street market. Vendors are talking to customers quickly, fresh oranges. Best price today. Do you want a bag? Yes, here you go. You stop and watch. Even if the sentences are fast, repetitive, or slightly messy, you understand the intent and meaning. You notice that communication is rarely perfect. It is alive, imperfect, and full of emotion. And that realization is freeing. You no longer feel pressure to understand everything. You simply listen, feel, and follow the flow. A young couple walks past, speaking softly to each other. Did you enjoy the movie? Yes, but it was too long. I liked the ending though. You repeat their sentences in your mind. Did you enjoy? Yes, too long, liked the ending. You notice the emotional cues, agreement, slight disagreement, personal opinion. You feel your understanding deepen because listening is not just hearing words, it is noticing emotion, intention, and rhythm. You continue toward a quiet square with a small fountain. A street performer is playing a guitar and singing. The lyrics are slow, emotional, full of repetition. You listen and repeat quietly in your mind, I walk alone. I see the sky. I feel the rain. Music and language merge. You realize that English is not only spoken in conversations, it is in songs, sounds, rhythms, tone, and emotion. Fluency grows when your brain absorbs these patterns naturally. A group of friends passes by, talking rapidly. One says, I can't believe he did that. Another laughs, I know, right? So crazy. You notice the emotional energy in their voices. You repeat silently, can't believe, so crazy. Even if you do not catch every word, your mind understands story, tone, and meaning. Listening beyond words is a skill you are building today. Story, tone, and meaning. Listening beyond words is a skill you are building today. You sit by the fountain and close your eyes again. You focus on the feeling of English, not just words, not grammar, not vocabulary lists. You notice tone, emphasis, pitch, pauses, emotion. Your brain begins to distinguish meaning from sound naturally. You feel your confidence rise because listening is no longer frightening. It is your ally. It is your teacher. It is your daily exercise in understanding life, language, and people. After a few minutes, you start repeating sentences aloud, softly, blending listening with speaking. The children are playing. The man is walking quickly. The woman is talking on the phone. The music is soft and slow. I understand the meaning. I feel the English. I listen deeply. Speaking while listening trains both your ears and your mouth simultaneously. You feel your fluency growing from the inside out. You continue walking along a tree-lined street. A bus passes by, and inside you hear fragments of conversations. I'm late, need coffee, meeting starts soon. You notice the speed, the connected sounds, the rhythm. You repeat quietly, I'm late, need coffee, meeting starts soon. Your brain starts to adjust to fast, natural speech, but now you notice the underlying meaning instead of panicking about every word. This is progress. You stop at a small bench and a man sits next to you, speaking on his phone. Yes. I'll finish the work by tomorrow, don't worry. You silently note the pauses, the stress on key words, finish, tomorrow, worry. Even though his speech is fast, you follow the logic and emotion behind it. You repeat to yourself, I understand meaning. Words come second. I follow the rhythm. This becomes your new listening habit. As the sun begins to set, you walk toward a quiet park. The world slows down. Children leave. People start heading home. You notice the evening sounds, distant voices, leaves rustling, footsteps, occasional laughter. You listen calmly. You notice patterns. You notice emotion. You notice natural pauses. You notice how English flows in real life, fast, slow, emotional, imperfect. And you feel a deep sense of achievement. Your ears are now tuned to real English. You sit on a bench, close your eyes, and repeat silently, I listen beyond words. I understand meaning. I notice emotion. I follow the rhythm. I feel English naturally. You notice how relaxed your body feels, how calm your mind feels, and how confident your understanding has become. You realize that listening beyond words is the secret to fluency, the skill that allows you to catch meaning even when speech is fast, messy, or unclear. You take a final deep breath as the sun dips below the horizon. You feel connected to the world, to the language, and to yourself. You whisper softly, I listen. I understand. I grow. Every day, my English becomes more natural. Every day, I become more fluent. And with that, your afternoon of deep listening ends, leaving you calm, confident, and ready to use your new skills in real conversations. As evening settles, you step outside once more. The city feels calmer now, but alive in a quiet way. The sounds are softer, the voices slower, and the light golden. Tonight, you decide to focus on immersing yourself in English everywhere, not just in conversations, not just in books or classrooms, but in life itself. Every sight, every sound, every small interaction becomes your teacher. You realize that true fluency comes from living English naturally, every day, in small, repeated moments. You begin walking down a familiar street. Streetlights glow softly, and the gentle hum of the city fills the air. You notice shop signs, advertisements, posters, and menus, all in English. You read them slowly, aloud in your mind, or quietly whisper, fresh coffee, open until 9, today's special. Even these simple words become part of your fluency practice. You notice how English is everywhere. And when you see it in context, words no longer feel abstract, they feel alive. A cafe window catches your attention. Inside, a barista is finishing an order for a customer. Here's your latte. Have a great evening. The customer replies, thank you. You too. You pause and repeat their sentences softly to yourself. Here's your latte. Have a great evening. Thank you. You too. You notice their tone, their pauses, their rhythm. English is no longer just grammar or vocabulary. It is a living, breathing language that connects people. And observing it carefully helps you internalize the patterns naturally. You continue walking, and a small park comes into view. Children are finishing their play. Parents call them softly, time to go home. Don't forget your bag. Wash your hands before dinner. You repeat quietly in your mind, time to go home. Don't forget. Wash your hands. These small, everyday phrases are now becoming familiar. You realize that fluency is built from these repeated, ordinary interactions, not only from long speeches or textbooks. Listening and repeating them silently trains your brain and your mouth to produce natural English effortlessly. A couple walks past you, speaking softly to each other. I had a long day at work. Me too. Let's relax tonight. You notice the emotional cues in their voices, weariness, comfort, care. You repeat their sentences in your mind. I had a long day. Me too. Let's relax, even if you are alone. Repeating and imagining conversations strengthens your ability to speak naturally. You notice that fluency grows in tiny, repeated actions, not in rushed efforts. You decide to sit on a quiet bench near the fountain. The water sparkles softly under the streetlights. You observe people around you, a man walking his dog, a woman talking on her phone, a teenager listening to music. Each person speaks in English differently, some fast, some slow, some softly, some confidently. You notice their patterns. You repeat words or short phrases in your mind, silently mimicking their rhythm. Good evening. Thank you. I'm coming. Don't worry. Slowly, your brain begins recognizing patterns of natural. You take out a small notebook and begin to write simple observations in English. The dog is running. The water is flowing. People are talking. You speak each sentence aloud softly as you write. Writing and speaking together creates a strong connection between your mind and your mouth. You notice that expressing thoughts, even in small sentences, strengthens both fluency and confidence. Writing in English today feels simple, natural, and calm, like painting words into life. As you stand up and continue walking, you pass a small street performer playing soft music. The lyrics are simple, repeating phrases like, I see the world. I feel alive. I walk slowly. You notice that music, rhythm, and words are connected. You softly repeat the phrases aloud. I see the world. I feel alive. I walk slowly. You realize that immersing in English is not just listening or speaking, it is feeling, imagining, and connecting. Every sound, every phrase, every tone teaches you something. A small grocery store catches your attention. You step inside. The cashier greets you, Hi, how are you today? You smile and respond, I'm good, thank you. And you? The cashier nods, I'm fine. Thank you. You notice the friendly tone, the natural pauses, the flow of conversation. Even this small interaction feels powerful. Speaking naturally, listening attentively, and observing responses are all part of your immersion. You notice how English flows in life naturally, not just in lessons. You buy a few small items, speaking each step aloud. One bottle of water, a sandwich. That's all, thank you. Each sentence strengthens your voice, your fluency, and your confidence. You leave the store and continue walking, noticing signs, conversations, and sounds along the street. Even a short sentence on a billboard, fresh flowers every morning, becomes a learning opportunity when you read it aloud, repeat it, and imagine saying it to someone. A bus passes by, and you hear fragments of conversation. I'll be there soon. Don't worry. Finish the work. You repeat the phrases quietly in your mind. I'll be there soon. Don't worry. Finish the work. You realize that even fragmented sentences carry meaning, tone, and rhythm. Listening carefully to these fragments strengthens your ability to understand real English naturally, even when words come quickly or are incomplete. You reach a quiet corner of the park, sitting again near a small fountain. You close your eyes and listen. The wind rustles leaves. Someone laughs softly in the distance. A dog barks gently. You hear sentences, fragments, tones, patterns, and meanings all at once. You feel a deep sense of connection to the language, to the city, to life. This is immersion, being present, noticing, listening, and feeling English as part of your surroundings. You stand up and begin describing your surroundings aloud. The wind is blowing. Leaves are moving. People are walking. The fountain is shining. The city is calm. Speaking these sentences aloud, slowly, clearly, helps you merge observation with English expression. You notice how describing life naturally creates new vocabulary, strengthens fluency, and makes English part of your daily reality. A young couple walks past you, speaking quickly. Do you want to grab ice cream? Yes. Let's go now. You notice their emotion and rhythm. You repeat quietly, grab ice cream. Let's go now. Even if you are not part of the conversation, observing and repeating real English trains your brain to understand natural speech, tone, and feeling. Immersion means practicing without pressure, noticing without judgment, absorbing without fear. You decide to walk toward the bridge at the park's edge. The lights reflect softly in the water. You begin to speak aloud, describing everything you see. The water is calm. The lights are shining. The bridge is long. People are walking slowly. I am speaking in English. I feel confident. I feel calm. These simple sentences are your daily fluency exercise. They train your mind, voice, and confidence all at once. As you reach the bridge, you notice a couple taking pictures. One says, "Smile." "Hold still." The other laughs, "I'm trying." You repeat softly, "Smile, hold still." "I'm trying." Even small, playful conversations like this teach you rhythm, tone, and natural English. Immersing yourself in life's small moments becomes your most effective practice. By the time you walk back home, the night is quiet, the streets almost empty, and the city feels calm. You reflect on your day of immersion. You listen deeply, repeated softly, observed carefully, and spoke naturally. You realize that every street, every sign, every sound, every small interaction is an opportunity to practice English. True fluency comes not from memorizing long passages, but from living English every day. You step inside your home, close the door, and take a deep breath. You repeat softly to yourself, "I immerse in English everywhere. I observe, I listen, I speak, I feel. Every day, my English grows naturally. Every day, I become more fluent." And as you sit quietly, you feel calm, confident, and ready for tomorrow's journey. The next morning, you wake up feeling a quiet excitement in your chest. Today is a special day. Today, you decide to use everything you have learned listening, speaking, observing, and immersing yourself in real conversations. Real conversations are unpredictable, fast, and sometimes messy, but they are the heart of fluency. And you feel ready, calm, patient, and prepared to grow. You step outside and take a deep breath. The morning air is fresh, filled with birdsong and the faint hum of the city waking up. You walk toward the main street, repeating quietly to yourself, "I can speak English. I can listen. I can understand. I can communicate." These simple affirmations remind you that confidence is not about perfection. It is about courage, persistence, and willingness to try. Today, you're willing. As you walk, you pass a small cafe. People are sitting outside, drinking coffee and talking. Their conversations are fast, natural, overlapping. You feel a small flutter of nervousness, but instead of retreating, you stop and listen. You do not aim to understand every word. You focus on key phrases, tone, pauses, and emotion. You notice the laughter, agreement, questions, and exclamations. Listening closely, you begin to recognize patterns of natural English, and your brain adjusts quickly. A young woman approaches a table near you and asks quickly, "Excuse me, do you know what time the bus arrives?" You pause for a moment and remind yourself, slow down, catch the meaning, respond naturally. You answer clearly, "I'm not sure, but I think it comes in 10 minutes. She smiles, thanks you, and walks away. You notice a warm feeling in your chest. A real conversation. You spoke clearly. You were understood. And that small exchange boosts your confidence tremendously. You reach a small grocery store. The cashier greets you. "Hi, how are you today?" You respond naturally, "I'm good, thank you." "And you?" The cashier smiles, "I'm fine. Thank you." You continue speaking clearly while picking items. "One bottle of water, a sandwich. That's all, thank you." Every small interaction is practice. Every sentence strengthens confidence, fluency, and natural expression. You notice a growing sense of ease and flow in your English today. After leaving the store, you walk toward a quiet street. People are talking on phones, greeting each other, calling friends. You focus on listening closely to tone, emotion, speed, and meaning. You repeat softly, "I'm coming." Don't worry. Finish the work. Thank you. Your brain recognizes patterns, pauses, and emphasis, training your ear for real-world conversations. Listening actively is now combined with speaking quietly, the perfect balance for fluency. A bus stops nearby. People are boarding, speaking in short, fast sentences. "I need 2 tickets." "Thank you. Here's the change." "Where's platform 6? You notice the natural flow, connected words, and rhythm. You repeat softly, "2 tickets." "Here's the change." Platform 6. Fast English feels less intimidating now because you focus on meaning, not every word. Your listening and speaking skills continue growing silently. You find a bench near a small fountain. You close your eyes and imagine real conversations, ordering food, asking for directions, talking about your day, expressing opinions. You speak aloud slowly, clearly, and naturally. "I would like a coffee." "How do I get to the station?" "I enjoy walking in the park." "I feel happy today." These sentences combine listening patterns, observed phrases, and your own thoughts. Fluency is now emerging naturally, like a quiet river flowing steadily. The sun begins to set. The streets glow with soft light, and the city feels calm. People continue speaking in English all around you, short sentences, fast phrases, emotional expressions, greetings, questions, and laughter. You repeat softly, imagine responding, and notice how natural English is woven into life. Fluency is not about perfection. It is about connection, understanding, and courage. A young man asks a passerby quickly, "Do you know where the library is?" The passerby replies, "Yes, go straight and turn left at the next corner." You repeat silently, "Go straight, turn left, next corner." Simple, clear instructions, everyday English. You realize that real conversations rarely require perfect grammar. They require clarity, confidence, and the ability to express meaning naturally. You walk toward a quiet bridge. The water glimmers under the evening lights. You describe everything aloud. The water is calm. The lights are shining. The bridge is long. People are walking slowly. Speaking aloud while observing strengthens fluency. You feel your voice becoming calm, clear, and confident. Your English is no longer something abstract. It is real, alive, and part of your daily life. A street musician plays a soft melody. Lyrics are simple. "I walk alone. I see the sky. I feel the wind." You repeat softly, "I walk alone. I see the sky. I feel the wind." Music, observation, speaking, and listening combine to create natural fluency practice. Your mind, ears, and mouth are working together. You notice improvement, not in grammar or speed, but in confidence, understanding, and expression. By the time you return home, the city is quiet and the sky is dark with stars. You sit calmly, reflecting on the day. You faced real conversations. You observed and repeated natural English. You listened beyond words. You spoke with clarity and courage. And through all these small, repeated actions, you notice your fluency growing, quietly, steadily, naturally. You close your eyes and whisper softly, "I communicate naturally. I understand meaning. I speak with confidence. I listen with patience." Every day, my English becomes more alive, more fluent, more mine. You feel proud, calm, and inspired. Today, you used English as it is meant to be used: real, living, connected, human. And that is the true transformation of fluency. The next morning, you wake up with a sense of calm excitement. The sun is rising slowly, painting the sky in soft golds and pinks. Today, you feel ready to reflect on everything you have learned, to see your growth, your progress, and the journey of fluency. You realize that mastery does not happen in a single moment or overnight. Mastery is built slowly, daily, step, by listening, speaking, observing, repeating, and reflecting. And today, you will celebrate those small victories. You sit on the edge of your bed and take a deep breath. You repeat softly to yourself, I have learned. I am learning. I will continue learning. These simple sentences remind you that fluency is a journey, not a destination. Every moment of listening, speaking, repeating, or thinking in English has contributed to your growth. You feel a quiet pride for showing up every day, for facing fear, and for practicing consistently, even when it felt difficult. You step outside, and the world feels alive and familiar. The streets, the people, the sounds, everything is part of your classroom. You begin walking slowly, noticing small details. A street vendor calls out, fresh fruits. Get your apples and oranges. You repeat quietly, fresh fruits, apples and oranges. A group of friends laughs. Did you see that? Unbelievable. You repeat silently. Did you see that? Unbelievable. You notice how your brain now quickly picks up meaning, tone, and emotion. You are no longer trying too hard. English flows naturally into your mind, your ears, and your mouth. As you walk, you reflect on the challenges you faced. You remember the days when fast conversations overwhelmed you. You remember the nervousness before speaking to strangers. You remember the frustration of trying to understand every word. But today, you notice the transformation. Fast English no longer feels impossible. Speaking aloud no longer feels scary. Listening beyond words no longer feels intimidating. Your brain, ears, and mouth have been trained gently, consistently, and effectively. You have grown. You have changed. A cafe comes into view. You enter and order a drink, speaking clearly and confidently. Good morning. I would like a cappuccino, please. The barista smiles. Sure. Anything else? You reply, no, thank you. And as you pay and receive your coffee, you notice how natural it feels. Simple, everyday conversations now feel comfortable. You do not need perfection. You only need clarity, confidence, and presence. And that is the essence of fluency. Sitting by the window, you observe people talking. One person says quickly, I can't believe this traffic. Another laughs, I know. It's crazy today. You notice the rhythm, emotion, and emphasis in their voices. You repeat silently, can't believe, it's crazy. Listening now feels effortless. You do not panic at speed. You understand meaning first, words second. You notice how fluency is about catching the essence of communication, not memorizing every word. You reflect further on your speaking practice. You remember when you first spoke aloud to yourself, I am brushing my teeth. I am ready for today. You smile softly. These small, simple sentences were the beginning. Every word you spoke then, every phrase you repeated, every sentence you practiced quietly in parks, streets, and cafes built the foundation for your current confidence. Fluency is incremental progress, invisible but steady, like a river slowly carving a path through rocks. You stand and take a short walk along the street. People greet each other naturally. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. And you? You notice the flow of the conversation, the politeness, the rhythm. You repeat softly in your mind, good morning. How are you? I'm fine. Thank you. Observing and repeating real conversations has trained your brain to recognize common phrases, respond naturally, and communicate effectively. You realize fluency is not about speed, but connection and understanding. A small park comes into view. Children are playing, parents are calling softly, time to go home. Don't forget your bag. You sit on a bench, repeating softly, time to go home. Don't forget. You reflect on listening beyond words. You understand that meaning is conveyed not only by words, but by tone, rhythm, emotion, and context. Your listening skills have grown, allowing you to follow conversations, even when speech is fast or overlapping. You have learned the subtle art of catching meaning, not just words. You decide to speak aloud while observing. The children are playing. The water is flowing. The sun is shining. People are walking. I feel confident. I understand English. I am learning every day. Speaking while observing integrates listening, thinking, and expression. You notice that fluency is not separate from life. Fluency is life, noticing, understanding, speaking, and connecting naturally. A couple walks past, speaking quickly. Do you want ice cream? Yes. Let's go now. You notice their rhythm, tone, and emotion. You repeat quietly. Do you want ice cream? Let's go now. Even short, playful conversations teach patterns, emphasis, and flow. By practicing in real life, your brain internalizes English naturally. You do not memorize sentences. You absorb them like life itself. You reflect on your journey. You remember the first days of fear and hesitation. You remember struggling to catch fast conversations. You remember avoiding speaking aloud, worried about mistakes. And now you notice transformation. You understand real English. You speak confidently. You listen deeply. You observe, repeat, and practice naturally. You have developed the skills of a fluent English speaker, not overnight, but through consistent daily effort. As evening approaches, you walk toward a quiet street. The city glows with soft light. People are talking, laughing, moving, living. You repeat silently. I communicate naturally. I listen actively. I speak with confidence. I learn every day. You notice how calm and confident you feel. English is no longer intimidating. It is a living, breathing part of your life. You sit by a small fountain, closing your eyes and reflecting quietly. You remember every step, listening slowly, observing patterns, speaking aloud, repeating phrases, practicing daily, facing fast conversations, and immersing yourself in life. Every action has contributed to fluency. Every small victory, every simple sentence, every quiet repetition has built the foundation for natural English. You realize that mastery is not perfection. It is consistent, daily practice applied with patience and courage. Finally, you whisper softly to yourself, I am fluent. I am confident. I listen, I speak, I learn. Every day I grow. English is part of my life. I am proud of my progress. I will continue practicing, speaking, and listening. I am ready for the world. And in that moment, a quiet joy fills you. You understand that fluency is not a destination. It is a journey of daily effort, courage, and connection. You are no longer a learner waiting for perfection. You are a speaker, a listener, and a participant in the living language of English. You stand, take a deep breath, and step back into the evening streets. Calm, confident, and ready, you know that tomorrow and every day after will be another opportunity to listen, speak, practice, and grow. Fluency is not a single moment. Fluency is every step, every sentence, every conversation, and every day. And today, you have truly embraced that journey. Thank you so much for joining today's lesson here at Fluent English Journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling me what you want to learn next. Your support helps the channel grow and helps me create more lessons for you. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next class.